I'm Sam from Cultaholic.com, and this is Graded for Friday Night SmackDown, where I take a look at the show segment by segment and award each little bit a grade from A+ to F. Now this week we have Roman Reigns' mystery partner, we have Otis's date with Mandy Rose, please bloody go well, otherwise I'm going to die inside, and we have the return of Hulk Hogan. Which, could he be Roman's partner? I guess we're going to find out. So without any further ado, let's crack on with it. Hit the intro. So we start things off this week with a moment of bliss. It's back, the first moment of bliss of 2020, and it's Nikki and Alexa, and Nikki sort of opens up conversation about celebrity crushes. As Alexa's about to answer, Nikki just butts in and she's like, I bet it's Brad Pitt. And she's like, yeah, it's Brad Pitt. We never find out who Nikki's is though, just Alexa's. So thrilling conversation there, but then they bring out Carmella to talk about her upcoming match with Bayley for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. Carmella, of course, says that she's going to win that match and she's going to become champion again. And then they bring up their sort of past friendship, the fact that Baymella was a thing, the fact they used to be really close. And Carmella's like, you know, we were super close until fairly recently. It was right up until Sasha Banks came on the scene, so she's blaming Sasha for the fallout of their friendship. Bayley then, of course, comes out. She's like, it wasn't Sasha's fault. Don't be daft. Sasha's lovely. It was your fault. I took you under my wing, and you're just not very thankful, are you? Things then quickly devolve into a bit of an argument. Carmella stands up. They get in each other's faces, and she's like, you know what? No, let's do it tonight. Let's do it right now. I want that belt. So we come back off the break, and we're straight into it. Carmella versus Bayley for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. And things start off with Carmella taking Bayley almost straight to the match. She's just working over the arm, and it takes Bayley crawling all the way over to the ropes and sort of tying Carmella up in the ropes a little bit to get out of it. She then starts bad-mouthing her, like, to her face, just screaming at her and pointing and being a general heel. Carmella avoids Bayley coming off the top. She gets her into a Mella go-round. She dumps her to the outside. She hits a dive. Bayley just keeps taking things to the outside as well. She's got champion's advantage, you know, like nothing's going to happen unless it happens in the ring. So just before we go to advert, Carmella is sent sailing into the commentary table. When we come back, Bayley is firmly in control. However, Mella isn't taking much of it. She hulks up, she starts laying it properly into Bayley. Bayley is looking a bit scared, to the point where as Carmella's about to like hit a super kick, Bayley cowers behind the referee. She like pulls the referee in, and I thought that was really cool because she jumps up the other side when Carmella puts her leg down. She's like, whoa, not going to kick the referee. She pops up and she sucker punches her. I thought that was some great little heel work there. There's a Bayley to belly. There is a top rope Rana from Carmella. Carmella is just going for pin after pin after pin, just cheeky roll up, cheeky roll up, cheeky roll up, but nothing can work. There's a really great super kick moment where it looks like she's got Bayley banged to rights and Bayley just rolls out of the ring onto her feet, which was great. And then back in the ring, Bayley falls into the last weapon in Carmella's arsenal, the code of silence, and it looks like there's really high drama here. It looks like Bayley might actually tap, but she manages to get her way over to the ropes. Bayley then rolls Carmella up and uses the ropes as leverage. The referee can't see, and she gets the 3 by cheating. She then jumps Carmella after the bell, and Naomi comes down, and her and Carmella drive Bayley away. I'm going to give this a B+, going off something that was set up like so quickly last week. I thought this was great. There was some solid drama toward the end when all Carmella had left was the code of silence, and I think that this was the perfect palate cleanser for Carmella because obviously she's been so tied up with the 24/7 stuff. We've sort of forgotten about her, and we've sort of forgotten how good she can go in the ring. Before we go to the next segment, it's revealed by commentary that Baron Corbin was heavily fined last week for attacking the staff and the fan, and he's also been suspended for this week's SmackDown, so he can't compete on tonight's show. And then we go to Bayley backstage, and Bayley is victorious, but she's angry. She says that her victory was not controversial at all, and that the next time she'll defend it will be definitely happening at Super Showdown. She doesn't care who WWE throws her way. She will take on any and all comers. So could it be because of the Saudi, like, nature of the Saudi Arabian shows? Could it be a legend? Could it be Trish? That would be like amazing. Or is it more likely we're going to get Naomi and Carmella versus Bayley in a 3-way match? We then go to Otis backstage. He's like getting himself ready. He's combing his hair. He's looking in the mirror. He gets a text from Mandy saying she's running just a little bit late. And then Tucky comes in and Tucky's like, come on, man, you've got this. Don't be nervous. Don't worry. And Otis is sort of, He's worried that somebody like Mandy isn't going to be attracted to somebody like him. He's sort of worried that it might be a big joke. And to that, all I have to say, Otis, is you shut your mouth. You are a perfect and beautiful little angel. And then we go to our next match, and it's a 90s level stipulation. Here we have Sheamus versus Shorty G and Apollo Crews in a handicap match. So the faces jump him straight before the bell. They drive him into the corner. They're tagging routinely, like fast as. So he can't really keep track of who is the legal man. They're just beating him into this corner, tagging, beating him into the corner, tagging. It's just wild. It's so wild and so fast. Doesn't quite keep him confused for long enough though, as he grabs a hold of Shorty, pulls him through the ropes and starts just wailing on his chest. The faces do regroup though, and there's a little bit more fast tagging, and this results in Sheamus eating a moonsault from the apron to the floor. Shorty is disposed on the outside. Sheamus sends Crews into the ring post, and then when he turns back around and he's all disoriented, bro kick, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to give this one a C+. The faces got a hell of a lot more offense in than last week. At certain points, they looked like they were completely outwitting him, which was great. It was a super squash. It made Sheamus look strong, but it made him look strong in the right way. Like, he's come in and he's wrestled some people that are competent and really had a plan to take him down, and he has still overcome them, if that makes sense. It sort of works, but it's sort of like a repeat, but it works better. Real quick, I'll not put a picture up because it was so fast. Carmella demands a rematch. She's backstage. She's just real pissed about Bayley cheating. She wants to get her hands on that belt. And now it's time! It's time to find out what happens when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside. The Hulkster is here via satellite. He's pulled a big bad Billy Willy. So yeah, he's in his beach shop in Florida. Commentary are asking him, like Goldberg is going to be facing The Fiend. You're going into the Hall of Fame with NWO. NWO and Goldberg had a long-standing rivalry. Like, how would you give advice to Bray Wyatt? And there's a little bit back and forth with Hogan, spewing out the usual rhetoric and talking about how good Goldberg was back in the day and he's a formidable opponent and all of that. And then he's cut off by Firefly Funhouse, except you get that NWO intro to Firefly Funhouse, the whole thing where it's like the following announcement was paid for by, and instead of the New World Order, it says Firefly Funhouse. I love that. So Bray imitates Hogan's mannerisms, the ear, the hulking up, the ripping of the shirt, all the usual stuff. He tells Hulk, I followed all of your instructions. I said my prayers, I ate my vitamins, and look at what it got me. It got me the Universal Championship. Huskus the Pig then appears, and Bray runs him down for being a bit of a fatty. And then Hogan finally gets a little bit of back and forth with Bray here. He says, you know what, man, best of luck to you. Goldberg is one of the toughest opponents you will ever face, certainly left his mark on me and my legacy by just, feuding with the NWO, but I wish you all the luck in the world. And Bray says to him, I don't need luck, Hulkster, I don't need luck. I have a fiend. And that line... Oh, that line was great. He then slowly lifts up a picture and teases adding Hulk Hogan to his wall of victims. And this gets an A. It gets an A. And, not really any of this has to do with Hogan. Hogan just turned up and went, Goldberg's tough. I'm going in the Hall of Fame again. Goldberg's tough. New World Order. Goldberg. Best of luck. It could have been anybody. It could have been Michael Cole. The whole star here was Bray, as always. It's just perfect. We then go to Sami Zayn and Cesaro in the ring, and they are set to hold a protest concert. They're introduced in the same way as Elias. Cesaro has a cowbell and a drumstick, and Sami has a ukulele. So they're about to start, and they're cut off by Elias. And Elias runs them down, getting the pop from the crowd, putting them in their place. And Sami's like, look, usually I'd just have my private security here, and there's security dotted around the ring. I'd have them take care of you, but not tonight. Come on. Get in the ring. I want you to hear this song loud and clear. Sami then tries to sing as Cesaro starts wailing on his cowbell. This leads Sami to ape the famous line, more cowbell. He says less cowbell, and the crowd, sort of dejected by this, start chanting, we want cowbell, as Cesaro's thrusting the air and smashing this drumstick against it. Needless to say, Christopher Walken appears to still very much be over in Vancouver. There's a little bit more back and forth, and eventually they have enough of his crap and they jump Elias. But then almost immediately, as soon as they start attacking him, Braun's music hits, Braun comes down, Braun kills all of the security members, chases Sami, and yeah, just your standard run in to make the save. This one gets a B+. It was great, it was tonally perfect, it was funny, it just ticked all the boxes really. I really enjoyed it. And as well, it was a fresh promo from a group of people that have been circling each other for quite some time. I'm actually starting to feel a little bit more invested in this whole storyline because this promo was so good. And then real quick before we move to the next segment, there's another super quick backstage thing. This time it's with Naomi, and Naomi's like, I don't care about anything that's happening with Carmella. I came out, I helped her, but I want that belt. So it's looking more likely that we're going to have Bayley versus Carmella versus Naomi at Super Showdown. Fingers crossed. So now it is time for our boys' big date. Otis walks into the restaurant with his sleeveless jacket, his t-shirt, his jeans, his trainers, and a handful of roses, and he asks to see his peach. He nervously starts to walk down the corridor. He's got to just turn left into the dining room, but then we quickly cut to Mandy Rose. Mandy sat there looking at a menu, a little bit bored. She's waiting for Otis when a hand appears on her shoulder, and she's like, Otis? And then she's shocked, and she's sort of taken aback and a little bit like, what are you doing here? And the camera tilts up to reveal Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler. And Otis turns the corner, and Otis sees them sat down together, and there's a guy pouring them wine, and his heart breaks. His heart just completely breaks, and so did mine. It was just awful. He drops his roses, he wells up, he's about to burst into tears, bless him, and he just walks off, and it was just so sad. It was so sad. But now I'm done with being sad. This gets the first F- ever, I think, in graded history. Dolph Ziggler, you prick. You are a massive, massive dickhead, and you should not have treated my boy Otis like that. Genuinely, you're a monster, and I hope that in Saudi Arabia, Goldberg beats the living piss out of you to the point where you can't come back. I don't think it's so much Mandy's fault here. I think she was taken aback as much as Otis, but she did allow him to sit down, so I'm not happy with you, Mandy, either. Otis is heartbroken. And now we go to the main event, and to be honest, I don't even know if I want to watch it, because Otis and Mandy should have been the main event. It should have been them being happy and having a lovely date and getting married and having a whole life together, but Dolph Ziggler ruined it, and so now I've got to sit through Roman Reigns and Mystery Partner versus Miz and Morrison, all sad. So Miz and Morrison run down the Usos for not being there. Miz says it doesn't matter whether you beard him or cheered him, and it's alright, mate. I do this all the time. Today has been a shocker for me too. Yeah, I just have the luxury of being able to cut out my crap lines. So I really feel for like live TV people like that. It's so crap. Like if you flub one line, you get arseholes like me talking about it. Really, it's my fault. I shouldn't have brought it up. I love you, Miz. I'm sorry. But then all the music stops. Roman gestures towards the ramp, and then everybody's like, who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? And it's Daniel Bryan. But before the match starts, Baron Corbin appears in the crowd. He's walking down the stairs in full gimmick, mind you, and he's got a ticket and he's just waving it like this. He can't compete tonight, but he is a member of the public. He can buy a ticket, he can show up. But when the match starts, Reigns and Morrison start off, and Roman crushes him before tagging in Daniel Bryan. Bryan then takes it to him, he knocks Miz to the floor and then hits him with a dive, comes back in and starts laying the yes kicks on Morrison. Morrison looks like a fool here. He finally finds his feet though, and he's able to dump Bryan to the floor, and Miz of course starts laying in like just the stomps and the strikes, and he's just being a little contemptible heel. This causes Roman to walk around to where like he's being attacked, and Baron Corbin just happens to be there. Roman gets distracted, and this leads to a little bit of a breakdown, and then Morrison comes with this massive dive and wipes out both Roman and Bryan before we go into the break. When we come back, Morrison is finally in control, and then he tags in Miz. Miz and Bryan keep the speed going, with Bryan managing to crotch Miz on the corner. And then when Morrison gets back in, he starts just grinding Bryan to the mat. He goes for a 450 though, and Bryan rolls out of the way. Roman then gets the hot tag, comes in, cleans house, but then he's caught short on a Superman punch attempt. Morrison almost has Roman banged to rights, goes for the Starship Pain. Roman is able to roll him up though, but it doesn't get him the pin. He gets the Superman punch, but he can't get the spear, and then Miz puts him down with a skull-crushing finale. Miz then stands in the corner, giving it the yes chant as he goes to sprint at Roman. Roman connects with a Superman punch, connects with a spear, and picks up the win. And then literally as the music hits, Corbin jumps the ring, nails Roman in the back of the head with the scepter, and just saunters off up the ramp to sit on his massive chair. I'm gonna give this one a C+. It felt a little bit house showy in the way that it was constructed, but with that, it's not like a bad thing. With that came an element of like fun and an element of drama. I think the right team won, but I'm a little bit concerned that this Roman Corbin feud is still ongoing. It feels like it's been happening for an eternity. It's great, but it's just, we've seen it. We've seen it. Can we move on? He's been covered in dog food. It's come full circle. Just find something new, please. But in terms of an overall grade for SmackDown this week, I'm going to give it a B. I should give it an F- for that arsehole Ziggler. It's coming in and ruining everything, but I can't take that out on everybody else. It's like when, it'd be like having one of those teachers where some dickhead in the class does something bad and they hold everybody behind. I can't do that to everybody else on the roster on this show. It is what it is. I love the opener, and in all seriousness, jokes aside, the Mandy Otis thing, they've got us right in the palm of their hands. Like, we were all sort of expecting Mandy to be the one that betrayed him. We still don't really know the ins and outs of this. She looked concerned when Ziggler showed up, so it's sort of like, maybe somebody else has thrown Ziggler into the works. Who could it be? Please don't be Tucky. And I'm excited to see who's going to challenge Bayley next. Maybe, as I said, we'll have that three-way. Maybe it'll be a legend. And as I said, I'm still a little bit miffed about that Reigns-Corbin feud still ongoing. But that was Friday Night SmackDown. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. You can follow Cultaholic on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you like what we do here at Cultaholic, you can check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/Cultaholic. And no matter what you do, don't ever forget to hit subscribe and join us.